Ready, little one? It's time for the Frog Prince. Once there was a young princess named Jade who decided to go for a walk in the forest. She brought along her kitten, Minvira, and her favorite toy, a small golden ball. When she came to a beautiful, cool spring, she sat down to rest. While Minvira chased butterflies, Jade tossed her ball and caught it again. After a time, she tossed it too hard, and the ball fell into the spring. The princess peered into it, but the water was too deep. She could not see her golden ball. "Oh no," she cried. "I would give all my jewels and beautiful clothes if only I could have my golden ball back." While she was sobbing by the side of the spring, an ugly green frog stuck his head out of the water. "What's wrong?" he asked. "Why are you crying?" "You can't help," she said. "You're only an ugly frog." But the frog told her he could get her ball. All he wanted in return was to live with her, to eat from her plate, and to sleep in her bed. Now this seemed very strange, but Jade thought the frog would never come to the palace, so she agreed to do as the frog wished. The frog swam to the bottom of the spring and brought up the golden ball in its mouth and dropped it at her feet. Jade was so happy that she grabbed her golden ball and ran home with Minvira, forgetting all about the frog. After all, how could a frog leave its home in the spring? "Wait!" called the frog after her, but Jade ran on. The next day, just as the royal family sat down to dinner, there was a knock at the door. The princess answered it herself. To her amazement, there sat the frog. He began to sing, "Princess, my princess, I pray I am not late. I'll sleep in your bed and I'll eat from your plate." The princess was so frightened to see him there that she slammed the door and went back to the table. "Who was there?" asked the king. "What a strange little song," remarked the queen. When Jade told him the story, the king shook his head and said, "If you give your word, you must keep it, Jade." Her mother agreed. So Jade went to open the door and let the frog in. He came tap, tap, splash, splash against the marble floor. Then he gave a leap and was sitting beside Jade at the table. "Move your plate closer so that I may eat from it," he begged, and Jade did. When they were finished, he and Minvira followed her up the marble steps to her room. Jade felt sure she could not sleep a wink with that frog in her bed, but he rolled himself in the edge of the covers and stayed quite out of her way, so all three slept soundly. When morning came, the frog gave a little bow, hopped down the stairs, and went off toward the forest. Jade hugged Minvira close and breathed a sigh. "That's the end of him," she told Minvira. But the next evening, just as the royal family sat down to dinner, there was a knock at the door. Jade opened it, and there was the ugly green frog before, singing his song again. Before she could say "Go away," he had tap, tap, splash, splashed across the floor and leapt onto her chair as before. Minvira hissed and arched her back, but Jade moved her plate closer to the frog. When they were finished, he hopped up the marble stairs behind her and leaped onto her bed. This night, Jade didn't mind the frog so much. After all, he was such a polite frog, and he sang so nicely. The next morning, the frog returned to the forest. On the third night, he was back again. Jade was starting to wonder if the frog was going to make his home with her. She thought it might not be very bad after all. He seemed kind and might make a good friend. Even Minvira didn't mind as much. The frog ate from her plate and climbed into her bed as usual the third night. But before he fell asleep, he sang another song. "You have kept your word, and now at sunrise you will be rewarded with a surprise." The princess wondered about it for a long time before she fell asleep. What could the frog mean? When Jade awoke at sunrise, she was astonished to see the most handsome prince she had ever seen. He was standing by her bed gazing at her. The frog was gone. The prince's name was Roland. He told her he had long ago been enchanted by a wicked fairy. The fairy had changed him into a frog and thrown him into the forest spring. "You will remain as a frog," she had said, until some princess lets you eat from their plate and sleep in their bed for 3 nights. "And so you did," said Prince Roland. "Come with me to my father's kingdom and be my wife. I will love you as long as I live." Jade could hardly believe what was happening. "Yes," she said, "I will marry you." They ran downstairs to tell the wonderful news to the king and queen. Jade's parents were amazed to see such a strange prince in their house, but Roland explained about the enchantment and the fairy. "And then this morning, there he was standing by my bed," Jade explained. "And I know I wanted to marry him. Even when he was still a frog, I had started to care for him. True kindness and goodness cannot be disguised by an ugly appearance." Jade's father gave his blessing to the young couple, and his thanks to Prince Roland. "You have taught my daughter Jade not only the meaning of patience, but the importance of being true to one's word," said the king. Soon afterward, Princess Jade and Prince Roland were married in a beautiful palace ceremony. Nearly everyone from around the kingdom came to see the prince, miraculously transformed from a frog to a handsome young man because of Jade's good deed. Then, with a tearful farewell, the couple departed for Roland's native country. There, his parents, the king and queen of that land, made them welcome. From that day forward, Jade was careful how she treated the small animals of the forest, for she was never exactly sure which one was bewitched and which one was not. Okay, little one, time to go snuggle.